guys? Hey, this is Steven here. So today I want to kind of introduce you to a software that is relatively newer in the editing world for film, not so much for photography or photo editing, but um, I, as much as I love editing, it's very hard to find an easy platform to use, and this software I'm about to show you is definitely a very simple, very fluid, an easy workflow to learn and to go with. So today I'm going to be talking about a software called Hitfilm to Express. It is a free software, believe it or not. And this company who's created this, they're combining a whole bunch of great things into one piece of software. So in this software, you're going to find a lot of, you can do editing and composing and VFX stuff and a whole bunch of other stuff all in one. If you don't really know what I'm talking about, basically if you use Adobe, After Effects, or Photoshop, or Premiere Pro, it's actually all of these softwares put together in one. So I'm going to go ahead and open it for you guys and show you kind of what it looks like and kind of show you the layout of the software itself. So right here, this is the home page. This is what you're going to see right when you bring up the software. Now, like I said, this is a free version, so you're not going to get all the plugins and all the defaults and all these cool things that you can do with the Pro version, which is this right here, Hitfilm 3 Pro. And if you want to go check out the prices for that, you can go to their website. But this is the free version, Hitfilm 2 Express, and you get pretty much most of the basic elements and plugins you would get with the Pro's version. And if you want to check out the Pro version, you can go download it and get a trial. So you definitely go check that out, and then check this one out too and compare it if you want. But anyway, so going right into this. So we have this really easy, I mean, look at this, the whole workflow of this entire editing software is amazing. So your workflow is going to be very, very easy and very quick and very fluid, like I said before. Also, the layout is pretty simple. All these tabs right here, these 4 tabs are what you're going to be using for your whole project, and it's pretty much, it goes in order. So the first thing you're going to go to is your home. So this is your home. And so to first design a project, what you want to do is you can click anywhere over here. So if you want to start a new project, you just click this new button right here, this toggle button right here, sorry. If you have an existing project, you can open it right here, or all of your projects that you work on in here are Hitfilm files, so .hfp, and they're going to be listed right in this column. I only have one in here so far because I just upgraded this, so or updated it, sorry, and I just got a new Mac, so this is all I have right now. But all your projects you have, it's going to build up a list on this, so you can just click on it and it will open it. So this is actually really simple and it's very easy. You don't have to go to you can go to File and do it here, but just for quick reference, you can just do it right here. One of the cool things about the software is that you can actually share all your videos, whatever you create in this program. You're able to share it through social media down here, or you can go to the blog, the forum. You have a movie wall. I kind of call this the Facebook of editing. So anything you create, you can actually share it online, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all of these links as well to all of their own personal or their business, I guess, blogs and stuff. So you can go do that as well. And down here, the one thing I love about the software, it's super easy for someone who's never edited before or new to this kind of stuff. It is really easy for you to learn how to do stuff because of these tutorials. Now these are just a few tutorial videos right here that are recommended for you to check out before you start, but you can view them all right here, or you can go to the Help tab right here and it'll take you to their gallery of tutorial videos. And this is actually, you'll find like a manual, user manual. It's online, and it's so helpful. And it has tutorials. This is one of the best things, is that it has so many tutorials for everything that you want to do. For compositioning for 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, for basic editing, for color correction, and I mean a whole bunch of other great stuff. So definitely go check out the tutorials on their YouTube channel, or you can just click down here, and it will kind of show you how to do anything you want. So you just click on a discussion or a topic, and it'll do that. And these are actually pretty short tutorials. They'll get you right into it. So let's go ahead and hop right into the project. So when you bring this up, I'm just going to go ahead and create a new project for you guys. I'm not going to show you this. This is actually a short film I'm working on. So we're just going to go ahead and click on the new. So the next tab it's going to bring you to is your projects tab. So this is where you're going to set up all of your basic settings for your video or whatever you're using in the software. And the only thing I don't really like about this is that they don't have a lot of audio editing tools, really. It's more, this is more just for video. They do have a few audio tools that we'll go through in just a few minutes, but very basic stuff. Video properties here. They have many defaults that you can do, or you can customize it to whoever you want to, and you can change your resolution, your frame rates, and your aspect. And so depending on your video size, you do want to make sure you set your settings to your video that you're using. So the video I'm going to be exampling, I guess, showing for example in here is this is the frame rate it's set at and the quality. So we're just going to stick to 1080p 23.976 frames per second. And we're just going to go ahead and click start editing. This will pop up. You just want to click yes or no if you just to make sure. So, all right. So here is your basic. I'm pretty sure this is a default layout. All right. So what we have here. This is when you first download it. This is what you're going to get. This is your default workspace. So the cool thing about the software, it has 3 different workspace settings that you can go to. For me, I don't do a lot of VFX or heavy visuals or graphics or whatever CGI stuff. So I don't really need all of this right now. So if you're just doing basic editing, you can actually change your views. So you have your 3 different workspaces. You have compositioning, default, and the editing. And I'm just going to go ahead to editing. And this controls area, I don't really use that much. So I'm just going to bring this panel out of the view real quick for right now while we're working here. So alright, so what we have right now, this is your basic editing, and if you want to, I'll show you what the compositioning layout looks like. And this is pretty much has all this into one. So the compositioning and the editing are kind of the same thing, but I'm just going to stick to my editing right now. And so yeah, alright, so so this is your basic editing layout. This is what you would use for pretty much when you start, unless you're just going straight into graphics, which I never do. It's really not that important. I'm going to take these 2 panels out because they're not that important. And if you want to, you can actually hide these panels. Just go to panels and click what you want to view on and off right here. So yeah, and you can save your workspace as like a default and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, hopping right into it. So this is your basic editing, I guess, work screen, or sorry, your workspace. So editing, yeah. All right, cool. So this is our custom. I customized, obviously. I closed some stuff out. So your basic layout is pretty simple. This monitor right here, this is called a monitor, and this is your second monitor. This is your record monitor right here. So this is where whatever you put in the timeline is what's actually going to be in your film or your video. So this is our record monitor. This is what is going to be saved. And this right here is actually our source monitor. So we do most of our in and out dragging and all that kind of stuff in this source monitor right here. So you know, you can drag your files right onto the timeline, but if you want to do a very quick editing technique, I'm going to show you. This is the easiest way. So this is your media. This is your media folder, or media, whatever you want to call it. You can import media one of 2 ways. So what I usually do is, if you're editing like a few scenes, or if you're editing more than one scene, you definitely want to create folders before you import anything. So I'm going ahead and create a new folder and title it Scene 1. And I'm going to go ahead and click the down arrow, so when I drag my files into here, it will just show me what's in here. You can drag them in, or you can drag them in here, whatever you want to do, really. Or you can import straight from your computer. Just going to bring up this. And I'm just going to go and grab this sample footage I have. I guess, let's see which one we could use. We'll go ahead and use this one. This is from my short film I shot. So it's going to import your footage. Now, one thing you do want to check for sure is down here. It'll tell you all of your information, how long it is, the resolution, the frame rate, and your audio. So if you want to change this or check it, you can definitely come look right here and just make sure everything's okay, because once again, you do want to make sure this is all correct for from your editing. So as you can see, this is not correct. Is how we set up our project. So now I'm going to go back. And you can actually, this is the great things about doing this, is that we can actually change this, and the film, we're going to set it as 720p, sorry. So now we just want to change these settings. So now our entire workspace, our timeline, all of our settings are set to what we're using this. So, and you can move from different things and it won't do anything. All your tabs you can move in and out, and it'll stay just like this. So, anyway, so this is a clip I want to use. So I want to import one other clip just to show you kind of how we can do stuff. Alright, we'll do this one. So, and it's going to line them up in numerical order. And you can change the order right here in ascending and arrange by name or type. But I like them in ascending order, so that way it's all organized, really neat. So in order to take a clip like this, one of these clips that are video, you can also use pictures too, but for video, all you have to do is just really click on it. So when you click on your clip or whatever file you're using, it'll bring it in here. You can also do this with audio as well. It'll bring your audio up in here. You just won't have a picture, and you can edit it the same way we're doing it here. So you can either do one of two things for editing. You can take your clip and drag it into your timeline, into your editor timeline like this, and you can trim like this if you want. I'm going to turn our audio off. Or what you can do is do it the easy way like I do for continuity purposes and for quicker editing. We're going to edit it in here. So like I said, this is the first way you can do it. You can, you can edit it however you want. You can cut it, you can, or splice it I should say. You can move these files down to here, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So what we're going to do, what I'm going to show you how to do is the easiest way to edit is in this source monitor. So the source monitor is what we're going to be using for editing, and once again, this is our record monitor. So in here, you see this little blue box around your video with these little tabs. These are your select tabs. So you can actually drag it in here, and you can see this blue line right here move, and you can do the same thing with this one. So basically what we're doing is we are selecting the range of this clip, the time of this clip, the 2 points in time that we want to import into this. So it's going to seem kind of complicated at first, but it's very easy. So basically what you do is you can drag your little white bar through the clip and pick a point where you want to start. So let's say I want to start right here when she's looking at her phone. So notice how our blue line is full down here. What we want to do is we want to cut just this point right here, and we can probably end it like somewhere over here where she's walking towards these tiles on the flooring and stuff. So we want to start right here. So where your white marker is right here, that's your point that you're going to be marking in or out. So we're going to mark this white point right here, which is where she's looking at her phone. We're going to go hit on our keys, on our keyboard, we're going to hit I. So I stands for in, and O stands for out. We marked it. This is where it's going to begin. So this blue box is actually basically just the ratio of the width of the film or the clip you're using. So don't worry about the space. It's not cropping your footage. It's just this is the ratio, the time ratio to your clip. So we marked our in point right here. Now what we can do is mark an out point. So now we can just drag this way, and let's say we want to stop it right there, right when she reaches her arm towards this tile right here. Now we hit O. And so now what we have selected is just this blue area in our frame, in our footage, sorry. So it starts right here and it's going to end right here. And once again, this blue little box is representing the ratio of time in this clip. So just don't worry about this blue box on your phone, because it's not just going to show like this area. This is just representing the time in this clip right here. So just think of it as 100%. This entire clip is 100%, and as you shrink down, it goes down and down and down. So this is just a small percentage of the whole clip, the part that we highlighted. So anyway, you kind of get what I'm doing. So now we have our blue parts selected, our in or out points right here, in or out point. So now what we want to do is we want to take this selected area, this blue part, and we want to put this onto our record timeline because this is the part we're going to use in our real video. So now all you got to do is just click anywhere inside this blue box, and you just drag it straight to your timeline. And now what we have is this blue area that we have selected our in and out points. That footage right there is now in here. Now we don't have all this empty space, like none of this right here is showing, and none of the ending is showing in here. So all that's going to be playing is this part where we marked our in and out points, as you can see. So it's pretty simple stuff. All right, this is a very quick way to edit. So continuity purposes, this is a great way to edit. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this to the beginning. So this is our thing. So now we can deselect the clip. So it's in here. And if you remove this from your project media, it will delete the clip. So just like that. And you don't want to do that because you need your footage. So don't ever delete anything out of here if you're using it. So now what we can do is we're going to add our second clip. So the cool thing about using this timeline is when you match two clips together side by side, there's a red line that will appear straight up and down like this, just where this white line is. And when you see that red line, that means they are connected. They're together, and it's connected. So you don't have to worry about it, being just a little bit away from the clip or it being, not in sync. But when you see a red line I'm about to show you, it means you're gonna be in sync. So now what we can do is we'll start right here when she's walking, and we'll mark another in and out point, just like this, right here. So now we have this selected. Now what we can do is, let's say I want to import, this is where we started. So we want to switch the camera angle to this, from this to this, right when she passes. This lady in the blue shirt is actually my mom. So let's mark this frame right here. So now, actually a little back, maybe a little more. There we go, right there. And continuity purposes are kind of bad, but let's see, let's kind of mark it. Whatever. Alright, so continuity-wise, this is going to be terrible. This is just a basic editing example. So now what we're going to do is we want to sync this. Let me zoom in this little thing a little bit. So we have this is where our line is right here, our marker. So now what we have to do is just drag this, and when you can actually put it, you can do it. See the red line that appears. That means it's cut properly. It's in the right spot. Now you could splice this part with the splicer right here, and cut it, and then select this and delete it. But I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to show you the easier way to edit. We're actually just going to create a second video and audio line. So all you have to do that is just drag your video up and then to the side right here. So now what we're going to be seeing is this, and then we can switch to this. Now, she's obviously not doing the same thing with her hands, so it looks terrible in the video. But editing wise, this is how you would edit something like this. And then you can just kind of go like this, and you see what I'm getting. So I'm not going to go through all this. But anyway, that's how you pretty much do that. So it's really self-explanatory stuff, pretty simple. So yeah, so anyway, I'm going to, well, let's bring this back. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back on our timeline, actually. Alright, so to create more tracks while I'm here, you can obviously drag like I showed you, or you can just right-click, insert track. You can also rename your track right here. You want to click this, and you can rename everything. And so yeah. And to view your track, you can just click the I, and to mute your audio, mute is red, so my audio is muted on here. So, alright, so now we're just going to get into the basic tools of Hitfilm. So we can actually bring this back a little. I'm not going to be using this as much anymore. So basically, this is your timeline. You have your editor sequence. Now, if you want to do visual effects like gunfire or smoke, rain, fog, any kind of VFX kind of stuff, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a composite shot and go into your compositioning editing. So what you want to do is you can only select one clip at a time in order to do this whole thing. Now what you can do is edit a whole sequence together if you want to do that, and then export it, and then import it into your another composite shot. So, but what I want to show you is specifically just for one clip. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, make sure your clip is highlighted in blue, and then I'm going to click composite shot, make composite shot. And you can take this from your editor sequence, so we're going to click that. Actually, we only have one clip selected, so everyone's going to do selected clip. And if you have more, you can click editor sequence. But anyway, you can move it with clip or leave it here. So we're just going to leave it here, and we're going to hit convert. So now we are in our composite shot editing, or compositor actually, that's not editing. So now what we're going to do is we want to bring up our workspace to compositioning. So now all of our tools are going to come up right here. And you can move them around if you would like. But anyway, so for compositing, I'm going to go into my controls view just to make it easier, and I'll show you what that does in just a second. So before we get started, some of the tools right here you have on your screen, we are in a 2D plane right now. So this is not three-dimensional. So right here, these are some of the tools you have. You have your drag tool, your hand tool. You have a text tool for text. And then these are your masking tools. You have your pin, elliptical, and square mask. And you cannot change these in this version of Hitfilm because it is a free version, so you can't change these settings. So these are the only three you have for masking. So you do have to just deal with this. It's not After Effects, it doesn't have all the plugins, but you know. And then you have your layer tab, and this will be using this in just a little bit for our selected layer. So now all of this is pretty much the same as After Effects. So if you're good in After Effects, all this layout, as you can see, this is our layers down here in our timeline. It's all the same. It's pretty much all the same as After Effects. So it's pretty simple to use if you used After Effects before. So anyway, so up at the top we have our different color settings. You have your RGB straight, your alpha channel, then red, green, and blue. So you can choose from any one of these. And then we have our rendering. You can choose. Now, I try to edit in full if I can. I use a MacBook Pro, so it's a laptop, so the processing is not fantastic. It's not amazing like a desktop. So if I'm going to have a lot of visuals or text or any kind of color grading or anything, I would usually view it in rendered half or rendered quarter view to make it easier, but you can choose whatever. And these are some more options: your export frame and your background color. So, and this rendering is just for viewing. This is not actually how it's going to render it in full. Of course, it's not. It's frozen. Anyway, let's go back to. There we go. So I'm gonna go to anti-alias for this. All right. So and you have your basic layout. It's not as much as After Effects, but it's pretty much the same. So anyway, so you can still cut in this. You can trim. You can't really trim actually, but you can cut with your splice tool right here. Still in this editor in the composite shot sequence. So anyway, so here are your tools, and these are all of the different plugins we have. You have audio, blurs, color correction, all this kind of stuff. So Keen, a lot of people use green screen and blue screen for this. Grudge effects for camera. Light flares, your quick 3D options for like smoke, missile smoke, rain, smoke, more smoke, storm cloud, bonfire, basic stuff. You have your particles and simulation. You can do blood spray and light electricity. And then you have transition effects with audio and video. Not that many though. You only have a few to choose from. A few dissolves, motions, wipes, and zooms. And then you have your only fades. Fades for audio, if I can click it right. So it's only fade for audio, so not that many selections. But one of the best things about Hitfilm, it actually has presets. So we have 2D effects. This is for color keying. You can use this if you don't want to use the keying tool in here. But then we have our 3D effects. This is your gunfire stuff, and they have a ton of different options for gunfire and for low light and daylight. So for nighttime, daytime, whatever you're using, you can use that. And then you also have your quick 3D, which is more very basic 3D stuff, just like the other one. You have a shockwave, a few shockwaves, smoke, fireball, phaser, star travel, some cool stuff. And then last but not least, you have your preset film looks. If you don't feel like going into color correcting with your color wheels and stuff and color grading, these are presets. These are not the best presets ever. They're really not that great. This is like for really a cheap look. There are other plugins you can get from them and from other third-party websites for sure. So, but these are just basic, just film looks that are all right. So in order to add any kind of effect to this, to your video, the cool thing is whatever effect you select, you just drag it onto your layer right here. And then what's going to happen is this will automatically create, if it's a 3D layer, if it's a 3D, I guess, object, just like these quick 3D things or gunfire, it's going to automatically create a camera for you. So if I wanted to add a magical fireball in the shot that we have, all I have to do is just drag it onto our layer. And now we're going to add a camera. It's going to ask you, and you don't have to worry about this, but now it's going to add a camera and a magical fireball layer. So, and it will layer it automatically for you. So you can turn on your 3D plane for your media, and now what we have is this magical fireball. So, and I think, all right. So to change the size, obviously for this, it's kind of ridiculously big. So if you want to change the size for this, you click on your layer, and then you're going to go to controls, and you can see it's already selected down here. And you can transform whatever you want to, your occupancy for your fireball. And there are some basic, just like some really basic settings. So, I mean, you can do all this kind of stuff. You can key in here and all this kind of stuff. Just the same thing as After Effects. You can key, and with these little bubbles, just hit them, click them, and it'll key. So, you know, all this kind of cool stuff. So, anyway, we're going to get rid of our... Alright, so color grading wise, these film looks are pretty, they're okay, they're not the best. So this is the Falling Sky, which is terrible inside. This is more of an outside kind of grade. So as you can see, it's just like really weird looking. We have our Hero Glow, which is obviously a glow to make it kind of like a dreamy, heroish look. You have your Purple Push, which is actually, usually what I do, like if it's an outside shot, there's not a lot of dark colors that are going to be crushed. As you can see in here, all these shadows are crushed now. If it's outside and it's really sunny, I usually use Falling Sky and Purple Push together. It actually kind of looks cool with outside shots. Then you have your cold, your saturated cold, which is terrible as well. It crushes all your dark colors. And your saturated warmth, which is really warm. But if you wanted to adjust this, you can just go into your controls right here, or you can go down here and adjust it as well. So these are both the same thing. So adjustment-wise, pretty simple. Now, obviously you don't want to add these effects straight to, or any kind of like color grading, whatever. You don't want to add any of that straight to the clip. So what we want to do is we want to create an adjustment layer, which is basically a grade layer. These are all your different layers right here. You have plane, text, grade, camera, light, and point. If you're doing any kind of tracking, you would use your point. Obviously, you can do light. You have your camera right here. So to add a color grade to a film, we're just going to hit our grade. So now it's created a grade clip. So now we can go to our color correction and color grading. And the color grading options are pretty bad. I mean, I never use these at all. So I use our color correction. So you have color wheels, which is what I use a lot. So we can drag it straight to our layer. And now we can go to our color wheels, and here are our color wheels we can select and move and color things with, and change the color of our clip, the shadows, midtones, and highlights. And so you can do pretty much whatever you want. So it's pretty cool just like that. And then we also have our color temperature, and you can crush your blacks and whites, gamma, all these really cool plugins you can use. Once you can use drag it to your new layer, do not drag it to your media. Just drag it to your adjustment layer right here for grading, and you go from there. So it's pretty cool stuff. So if you want to do any kind of text work for like title sequences or whatever, we're going to create a new text. We'll go all the way to the beginning. All right. So now we have our text. Let's see if I can. All right. So now we're going to take our text and turn it into a 3D object. So if you want your text to be 3D, you can definitely do that. Just quick switch to 3D. It's going to create a camera for us. All right. So now for our new text, we're just going to. So you can just start typing in the box. Just double click, click in the box, and we'll just call this movie 1. So now what we want to do is we want to change. Let's actually move this a little bit around. Not the film. So let's move our title kind of here till we can see it. So now we just want to go to this, and then we can go to our text tab right here on effects, and you can change your text font. I mean, there are tons of fonts in here, hundreds of fonts you can choose from. So there we go. We'll go with that, and you can change the style, like bold or whatever, and you can change the size by dragging the arrow, or you can just go to that, or you can just type it in, and all these other cool effects, the color, center, you know, all that kind of cool stuff. So that's pretty much it with the text. Now to create a 3D, let's go ahead and select this. Well, actually, we'll select this. So for 3D text, there's not many things you can do with, you know, creating anything kind of 3D really. What we are going to do is we're going to 3D extrusion layer onto the text. So now what we have is it has created made our text three-dimensional. So what we can do is, let's say that you want to kind of like, we want this to kind of grow in with the movie. So as you move it to the left and right, you're going to get this really cool effect. And as you can see, the 3D actually moves with the camera. Like the title moves with the camera. So it's actually pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to, and for occupancy reasons, just forget what I just said about that. Forget it. We're going to scale this up a little bit. So if we want this title like in our faces, like we want to be like really close to it, we can scale this thing just ginormously. And now we have, just so you guys can see the, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and we want to like make this kind of, you can create it like really deep, which is kind of cool. But we're going to do that. And you can change your quality of it. And our depth of field, we want to turn that on just for like a little bit of kind of like more cinematic look. But basically you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. This is a huge, awesome, great tool to use for title sequencing and edits and all that kind of stuff. Now, there are no default title sequences we can use like for credits or anything, so you're going to have to do it probably in another editor, or you can do it in here. It's just going to take a while, and you can just animate it by keying it, obviously. It takes a much longer time, but, you know, whatever you want to do. So this is your basic editing stuff. There's so much stuff you can do. We can also add... we can add some grudge effects like a flicker, so we can actually make this text flicker as we play it.
Alright, action.
Can we... Alright, let's go ahead and turn this off. So, now what we have is the title is flickering, which is actually pretty cool. So, you can change the flickering as much as you want. Through the flicker settings right here, so amplitude, randomness, brightness, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's just the basic stuff for titling. So pretty much that is pretty much it for this kind of stuff. You can go into more with it as much as you want and go play around with it, but this is the basic way of simple editing with this, and obviously please go play around with it. You can do so much more than what I just showed you, but this video is just to show you the basics. So all these tools you can use for free. So yeah, so now what we want to do, let's say that you have all of your stuff edited in your editing sequence, and you're like, okay, I'm done, I want to save it, I want to export it, and I want to watch it. You're not going to be able to watch it in full render mode with full quality on here because, for obvious reasons, you haven't rendered it yet. So we're going to render everything and save it. So there's two things you can do. You can either, you can click this export button right here, but the best way to do it is just go straight to the export tab right here. So you can save your project and then go to this editor, or the export. Now, you can choose which area or which timeline to choose it from. We close the composite shot, so you can actually save your VFX or export that VFX. So let's say that you wanted to, let me go through that real quick. So if you have, let me go ahead and, there we go. Alright, so we have our composite shot right here. So let's just pretend we added all these cool visual effects in here, like fire, smoke, gunfire, that kind of stuff. And we want to bring this in full and bring it into this editing sequence. So what you can do is actually keep all of this open, go to your export, and then if we're just going to export this VFX clip right here that we did all the VFX work on. So we don't want to render the whole video yet. We just want to render our VFX to import it into our video. So we're just going to go straight to our export, and then we're going to click on our titled composite shot that we made. And you can do content area. That's usually selected, and you can change your different export area you want to go to. But we're actually going to export it into our entire timeline. And now what we're going to do, actually I'll show you guys. Let me, we'll go ahead and add a light flare to this. Just right in the middle. Why not? So we have this. You can save it as QuickTime Movie image sequence, which is never really used, or you can use MP4. I use MP4 for almost everything. Export audio, yes. Make sure your settings are right. This is filmed in H.264, so that's the only setting we really have for this. Your resolution, your frame rate's all the nice and the same as before, and everything looks good. So now what we can do is export all of that. So we can call it VFX1. And it's going to save it. You can change. This is a Mac, so you can change wherever you want it to lead from. But we're going to save that, and that's going to render it. So this actually, the exporting and rendering for the software is actually really quick. It's a lot faster than After Effects, especially when you have a whole bunch of VFX on one clip. It's very, very quick with editing, so it's very cool. So we're not going to play it. We just want to make sure that it all went to the right place. Yeah, so we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to go back, and now as you can see, we rendered it all, and we exported it. So now it is in our timeline the way we want it to be, just like this. So it's pretty cool. Now this is our light flare. So if you want to take the light flare out, you can just go back to your composite and take out the light flare, and now it's gone. Now this actually does it right here for you, and you don't have to export it. But in order to save, what I like to do is if I do this, the reason I exported this right now is because if I lose this file, if I close it accidentally or forget to save it, I'm not going to be able to get it back. So now that I close it, and and you're like, and if you double click, it'll open it back up. But this is just like for I do a lot of cuts. So when you do a lot of cuts, you want to use the same editing technique as before. If you want to use the same clip without cutting it, you can take your exported file that you just exported from your desktop, and then just take it and import it into your media and drag it back into here. So you don't have to export it in order to put it into your timeline. I just exported it just to save this composite shot for if I wanted to do another cut of this whole movie. I can drag it in and start over, and then this composite shot right here with the light flare that we had, I could just take it and import it back into my new sequence that I'm starting, and have the same thing. So that's just, you can do it like that. But to export this editor, you do the same thing, and you just choose your editor, and you do the same thing and export it. So it's all pretty much the same thing. So guys, that's pretty much it for this. I'm not going to go too into it. Like I said, just go playing around with it. There's so much you can do. It's really great to have 2 or 3 monitors when using this software, for any editing software really. So definitely try to get 2 monitors if you can to do this. This is what I'm using. This is all on 1 monitor just so I can record it all. But like I said, go check out everything. Go to their website, Hitfilm to Express or Hitfilm, and check out all their stuff. They have some really cool stuff to see and check out. Video tutorials, definitely go check out those and see what you can do on their stuff. And go check out their reels too. There's a lot of cool reels on their website and YouTube channel as well. So once again, guys, thanks again for watching. And go check out some more videos on my YouTube channel if you're interested. And I'm going to try to create more tutorials about doing stuff on here as well when I start getting into my heavy work with editing videos and stuff in here. So thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and leave your comments down below, and I will see you guys later.